was cluttered, like Wonder Valley places were, but not trashed like so many others. Out front, Sarah again said she was really happy to have met me. She could tell I was honest, reliable, sincere. She was lonely in the desert. Things haven't been going my way, she said. I've had a falling out of sorts with the valley. She pulled me across the yard. There was something she wanted to show me. Half a dozen dogs, pit bull mixes and desert mutts, followed us to a covered carport where, wedged in a jumbled mass of boxes and parts, was a VW hippie van. The engine's dead, she said. It was its seventh. Sarah said she put 800,000 miles on that van while touring and traveling. As a musician, she'd gained quite a following and had played with and opened up for some blues and rocks greats like Huey Lewis and the News, Bonnie Raitt, and John Lee Hooker, earning as much as $2,000 a show. But now she couldn't afford to fix the van. It sat dead in the toothpaste green carport of her toothpaste green house. Recently, though, someone had smashed a window and gotten inside. They trashed it, she said. She teared up as she told me this. She slumped it against the van, deflated. Wonder Valley has betrayed me, she said. I've tried to be part of the solution, to help people out of such a rut of a place, to spread a little hippie kindness and love in a place so desolate and dead setness dysfunction, but now it's killing me. She began to cry, a mournful, moaning cry, like one cries for the loss of a loved one. Her face crushed and lined by the sun. Her face flushed and lined by the sun, crushed into a grimace. Columns of spittle stretched across her open mouth like prison bars. Wonder Valley is killing me, and if I don't get the hell out of here, I'm going to die. She leaned into me for a hug. Sarah described her many problems to me, not the least of which she'd lost her job. Now her only income came from a house she cleaned on the other side of town, 1 day a week, $50. But the house was 40 miles away, one way, a trip she had to make on her ATV with bald, mismatched tires off any paved road. That $50 went mostly to gas, with little left for food necessities. I'm literally starving, she told me. I've lost 50 pounds. She needed help, assistance. Her problem was that she owned that toothpaste green house and another cabin next door, and because of that she was ineligible for any government program. Unemployed, however, she could no longer pay her mortgage. Creditors came by, one man with a bag of groceries and some dog food. They were hers for the price of a blowjob, he told her, but she had yet to fall that low. So he took the groceries and left, leaving her only the dog food for her dogs. A few days after we spoke at her cabin, Sarah came to my place and told me she was leaving. She called a musician friend from her touring days who was going to get her out of Wonder Valley. She apologized to me as if her leaving was some sort of weakness, a feebleness of spirit that would leave me here in this valley alone. I came to Wonder Valley to spread a little hippie kindness and love, she said again, but Wonder Valley has betrayed me, and now if I don't get out of here, I'll die. Her sense of betrayal and alienation fit with a theory of Wonder Valley that gestated in me. I saw Wonder Valley not as one single community, but as separate, overlapping, and often competing tribes that very much kept to themselves. We had the retirees on one hand, the living embodiment of the original homesteaders, besieged by nature, fighting against it to turn these vast God-given wastes into man-made gardens of Eden. These, by and large, were the old-timers Sarah remembered from the past. They lived on fixed incomes, but generally had the means to support themselves. On the other hand, you had the artists and writers and musicians. These were younger people typically, who tended to embrace nature and the beauty of the desert. The mountains and the stars. This had been Sarah's tribe, the kind of people who had attracted her here, the ones at the open mics and weekend music festivals. And finally, there were the others, the degenerates, the feral people, the lowlifes as they were called, those who had just sort of found themselves here, the marginalized economic refugees having fallen through the poor sieve of American society. These others, as well as the snowbirds and retirees and the artists and musicians, existed out here all but unintelligible to one another, like separate and distinct subspecies of humanity, as different as dogs and cats are from coyotes. The artists looked at the retirees with snarky aloofness, and the retirees the artists with bewilderment, while they both struggled with the degenerates and their squalor, their machinations for survival, or in the artist's case, willfully looked past that poverty, or even incorporated it into their art, creating assemblage sculptures from the desert junk and cast-offs without regard to its origin.